Speaker, our police director, Sammy DeMayo. You have about 120 seconds.
Good morning, everybody. Today is truly a historic day and a great day for the Newark Police Department and the city of Newark as a whole. Just a little history on how this also became police headquarters and not just the 5th Precinct and the Office of Emergency Management. I was announced as police director back in early May, and one of the things that was done was I was brought here for a tour of the building with Morris Warner, Paul from Mass Construction, and Mo Butler. And as we walked through the building and I looked at the space, it occurred to me, I said, you know what, this would be a perfect place for a new police headquarters. And as I said that, I saw Morris cringe, Paul cringe, because pretty much the structure of the building was done already. So I was walking around with my pen and pad, and we'll knock this wall down, we'll put this here, we'll do this, and just a few short months later, it's all done and it's completed, and it was tremendous work by you guys. You guys really deserve a great round of applause for what you did in this building. This will be the 3rd location for the police headquarters of the Newark Police Department. The first location was 22 Franklin Street. From there, under the direction of Police Director Hubert Williams, it was moved to 31 Green Street in the interest of a growing department and more space that was needed in 22 Franklin Street. Our choice to move it here was based on a number of things, but first and foremost was to put the police department and police headquarters out into the community. When I walked through this building, one of the most important parts of it that I saw was the community room and the community center that's located right here in this front corner. It's space in the building that's not going to be used for different things, like a roll call room that can be converted into a room for community meetings like we do now. But it's a room that's dedicated to the community within this South Ward and any other wards in the city that need to use it. It's a room where we can hold meetings, it's a room where we can hold parties, events, and it'll just constitute one thing that we push for each and every day, and that's to just mesh our police department and our community together as one. And I really think this building will be help us accomplish that. The building around the corner, which is the old 5th Precinct, it's interesting, that building was erected and built in 1911, and today we stand here 100 years later with the first new police precinct that's been ever built in this city since 1912. The 3rd Precinct on Market Street was the last new precinct that was built anywhere in the city. So 100 years later, we stand here in a new police facility. And we look at communications. The old 5th Precinct was a communication center. And I was laughing this morning when we were looking at the technology of the building, how they tracked where the different cars were throughout the ward was. They had a big map on a table and small little police cars. And when cars were being dispatched to locations, they would put the car at the location, and when the unit was on assignment, they would turn it sideways. Today, in this building, myself and the chief are going to have the ability from our desks to track via our computers where each and every car is, which will better help us manage the resources that we have in the city to better serve the community and better serve the South Ward. To look back at some of the old history, there was some people that we had to tap into to get some of that from. If you go back to 1911 and 1912, we have Sheriff Fontoura, who was a cop back then, I believe, correct? And my father, who's here today too, who went to the academy with Sheriff Fontoura, and these guys are the ones that told us the history of the 1911 and 1912. Another thing that we're going to do here in the building, which I think it's a very important thing for the family of Police Officer William Johnson. If everybody remembers, earlier in the year, we had a tragic event in the Newark Police Department. An off-duty officer named William Johnson was shot and killed in the confines of the 5th Precinct and the South Ward. And what we're going to do is, once we move into this building and we're here live, we're going to dedicate and name the community room in this building after Police Officer William Johnson. So like I've indicated, it's an exciting day for us. It's the department moving forward in a new era of technology. It's the department moving forward in a new era of community engagement, and it's something that we're very excited about. We look forward to the day we're moving in. We have our moving trucks all ready. My boxes are ready, Paul. Just tell us when we're ready to go. And it's going to be a pleasure to get up here in the community in the South Ward. Thank you very much. Yes.
All right, our next speaker is our Chief of Police, our history-making, history-setting Chief of Police, Ms. Sheila Cole.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Well, we've had several history lessons here today, so I don't have to do that. We've heard from the South Ward councilman who said that the officers, now that they're here in this beautiful building, he hopes that the level of performance matches the building. Well, I just want to tell him that having served as the commander of the 5th Precinct for almost 5 years, Councilman, I think they did a great job in the old building. There is no doubt in my mind, with the technology of this building and the resources that we have, and combining the two, that the officers that serve the 5th Precinct will do an outstanding job. As the director stated, it was important for us to come to this building because we want to be plugged into the community. We want you to know when you feel it, we feel it. When you experience it, we're experiencing it. We're here on the front lines with the community. That's where we should be. We have to lead from the front and not from behind. As I look out today to show you how important this day is, you are surrounded by 4 5th Precinct commanders. I look out in the audience, I see retired Deputy Chief Brian Morris. I think at one time I was his XO in the battles that we had. Our current police director, Samuel DeMayo, is also a former 5th Precinct commander. Our current 5th Precinct commander, Eugene Venable, is standing over with the rank and file. That shows the level of commitment that we have to this community. If once we're here, we become part of the fabric of this community. When we retire, our commitments still remain the same. It is a glorious day for us to be here and to let you see this new building. It is beyond words for me to be able to express that my precinct council finally have a home. I know they've been displaced for a while, but they continue to forge forward and continue to do the business of the community, and now we have somewhere where they can call home, and I'm just excited to be part of that again. So, I don't know if I went over my 120 seconds, but I'm just so elated to be able to share this experience with everyone in the community, and so that I don't have problems later. Director DeMayo acknowledged Sheriff Fontura and his father, Carmen DeMayo, but he left out my father-in-law, Willie Coley, who was also part of that group. So with that being said, thank you all for coming out today and celebrating this day with us.
Now, without any further ado, we have the mayor of this great city whose vision it was to build this out. Let's see if our great mayor can stick to 120 seconds. Let's see.
There's one good thing about being the mayor. The person who controls the mic, I sign their paychecks. So my first tweet of the morning goes to the people I need to thank probably that have not been thanked. My first tweet of the morning was an Anglia resident was leaving for work, and she was upset because the road had been closed off, and said, "When you're finally opening that building, Mayor?" And I have to just say to all of the residents of this area that have put up with well over a year of disruptions to your streets, to the businesses that have put up with disruptions, to the clergy, I want to thank the tolerance of the residents for all that you have put up with for us getting this building up. So thank you very much. And I also want to thank the residents who have kept us on task. I'll never forget the calls I got when we first started putting this in by residents who said, I don't see that many people from Newark building this building. And and Councilman James will remember this, we called, as a result of residents' complaints who watched this building go up like hawks, we had emergency meetings in my office with the construction company, pushing them to meet and surpass their quota, and I'm very grateful. There's something about Newark residents that is tough, that is unrelenting, that is going to make sure that when something's done, it's either done the Newark way or no way. And I want to give a lot of gratitude to the residents who made sure of that. And on that note, before I talk specifically about this building, I really want to thank all those here in the city of Newark. We get a group like this together, it is particularly important for me to recognize that this building right now is not an anomaly if you look at the landscape of Newark. It is wonderful that we have 7 council people here, even though for some of them this is not the ward or districts they represent, because they see and they know and they are involved in the hard work that's going on all over the city. You see, it's good to do this building, but I'm telling you right now, what this council gets even more excited about is building parks and recreation centers. They've got 50 acres of parks that they've worked to complete already in the city of Newark. You go up right now and look at School Stadium and see how that has been refurbished. You go on Central Ward and see the clubhouse that the Housing Authority finished. You go up to Grafton Avenue, see the construction that we're doing in the North Ward. We will soon be announcing a new recreation center that's going to be constructed here in the South Ward as well. It's good to see this building go up, but I'm even more excited to see about the affordable housing that's being constructed all over the city. You go up this street right now and see the veterans homes that we're building. Go on Martin Luther King Boulevard and see the building that we created for women coming out of a drug treatment. Go into the East Ward, which hadn't had new affordable housing in over 40 years, and see what they're building down there. It's good to see construction like this happening, but it's important to see new businesses being built in our city. I'm excited to see what Wakefern is doing. We're building a new facility that's a transportation and logistics facility that's going to hire 200 people. It's good to see what Bartlett's Dairy is building, a new warehouse in our city that's going to hire over 100 people. It's good to see the businesses coming, like Panasonic, bringing 1,000 people to our city to build a new tower for the first time in 20 years in our downtown. It's good to see 2 new hotels being constructed for the first time in 40 years in our city. This is what we must continue to do. In a down economy, when other people are despairing, when other people are casting stones, we here in the city of Newark, because of the leaders that are assembled here, on the state level, on the federal level, on the local level, everybody is pitching in and pulling in the right direction, creating hope, creating jobs, creating recreation, and creating opportunity. And now here we stand before a building that has been a long time coming. You heard Director DeMaio say that. We have not invested in our police infrastructure in this city in a century. In a century. 100 years have passed, and we've watched our buildings and precincts become more decrepit as they go on. My very first day as mayor of this city, I toured the South Precinct and the West Precinct, and I was appalled at what I saw. We saw people working on typewriters that belonged in the Smithsonian. We saw bathrooms that didn't work at all. We saw wings that had been shut down because the roofs were collapsing. I had OSHA complaints from police officers and firefighters because their buildings absolutely had been neglected and were unsafe work environments. We in the city of Newark must understand from what our president is saying in Washington, D.C., all the way down to what we realize here locally is if we do not invest in our infrastructure, if we allow our cities and our towns and our roads and our bridges and our schools to crumble, we will not be the strong America that we yearn to be. You can attack government all that you want, but you need to understand that we need to invest in the public good. We need to invest in the public safety. We need to invest in public education. And so here we are standing now before a new building that is state-of-the-art in its technology, that has important investments in our greater safety. We are a regional homeland security hub, and we do have people that want to do us harm. We have had specific threats on buildings here in the city of Newark. We have had challenges from overseas focused here in this area. We know that on 9/11, one of the planes that hit the towers took off right here from Newark Airport. We must be prepared. And this is now, in this building, we can say unequivocally that we are now prepared for the challenges. We have the technology, we have made the investment. And the second reason why this building is critical is because our police precincts used to be fortresses for police personnel only. This was the first one that we have built now in over a century that has said there cannot be a separation